Here at the iconic City Hall right here in Beverly Hills. And joining us today is Sheila Morovati, founder of Crayon Collection. And we're here tonight for a really special and really important screening of the film Straws. Tell us a little bit about how you got involved with straws and why it's important that everybody watches.
Thank you for having me, first of all. Straws are a funny thing. They're a habit that we all sort of use on a daily basis, not really think twice about them. I started writing a blog a couple years ago, and a staggering number came up, and it was 500 million straws are used per day in the United States alone. And I kind of was like, that's not possible. That's not true.
Yeah.
And I kept digging and looking and learning more, and sure enough, it was true. So at Crayon Collection, we do work on habits of waste in a different way, but the straws really popped up at me, and I had to do something. It just was so wrong to me to be using them so mindlessly and just ending up polluting our oceans and our water like this.
How did you start Crayon Collection, and how can other millennials like myself, strive to do similar things the way you did?
I saw a problem. I was going to restaurants all the time with my daughter. She would get a 4-pack of crayons, but she was 2.5 years old. So she'd use them for a few minutes and then they'd be off to the side of the table. But they're really good crayons. Why would we throw them away? Yet time and time again, the restaurant would be clearing the table and throwing the crayons in the trash. I needed to do something because I knew there were students and children in schools nearby who had no crayons, and that teachers were spending their personal earnings at a rate of $900 per year. Why would we throw these away when we could just redirect the trash? So we started by asking restaurants. I started by asking restaurants to please collect the crayons, and I would find a local school nearby to pick them up. And then later that evolved into a full after-school program and art education program and everything. The point is that my advice to anyone out there listening is that you can make a difference. Your voice matters. You can literally take those daily steps. Just take those steps one after another. Just move forward and something great can come of it. But if you just think about it and say someone should do something, it's more than likely that it's not going to get done. So the power lies within you.
You speak a lot about restaurants and dining out and the harms that, getting just a simple dinner to go could have on the environment. How is that harmful? Because for the everyday person, they're just picking up their dinner to go. They don't think that something harmful is coming out of it. Can you open up our minds a little bit to how that happens?
Well, our world has evolved into this world of convenience. And single-use plastics are not just straws. The straws are the tip of the iceberg. But what about the cutlery that you may not need when you're going to go home and eat? So you maybe want to mention that to the restaurant and say, I don't need any plastic utensils. I'm eating at home. Those packages that the food comes in, all of that will not leave this planet. Those pieces of plastic are here to stay. And whatever we can do to refuse all of that is our job, is the only way to resolve this. So yeah, you want to go out and grab some food to go. We do want life that's convenient, but there definitely are ways and tweaks that we can make, like simply telling the restaurant that I don't need the cutlery. Because, many times you go in your drawers in your kitchen, they're full of cutlery that you don't know what to do with, but they're just plastic and they're sitting there.
You talk a lot about refusal, and we've heard that from some of the panelists that are going to be speaking here tonight. How did that start? Where did the refusal part of single-use plastics come about?
Well, it's used to be reduce, reuse, recycle. But recycling is not what it seems to be anymore. Right now, only 9% of plastics are recycled. So when you have that much plastic going out into the oceans and to the landfills and only 9% is being recycled, well, the problem is not going to be resolved. So the point is, refusal is where you first stop it before it even gets to the place of needing a recycling option. So if you can bring your own water bottle, bring your own straw, bring your own anything, bring your own. That's one thing that we can do so that we reduce all of this unnecessary waste. I mean, I don't leave home without my reusable water bottle, and I refill it wherever I can. We don't really need that much plastic in our daily lives. So refusal is the first R that needs to be a part of those 3 R's that we're used to hearing. So it's refuse, reduce, reuse, recycle.
So you're very heavily involved with the Los Angeles Unified School District, and I remember hearing that there was a school from Hong Kong that actually reached out to you guys at Crayon Collection. That is the most insane thing to know, that you went to dinner with your daughter, you had a need to change something, and now there are people that from Hong Kong that are being affected by it. How was that experience for you, and how did they reach out to you?
It was a cool experience. I got to be honest with you. I was like, wow, one idea I had has impacted someplace so far away. I've never even been there. It's just such a bizarre feeling. But what was cool about it was a teacher heard about the idea and wanted her children, her students, to participate. So these kids there collected their crayons, repacked them, put them into really cute little notes of kindness, and they asked me, where do we donate them? That was her question. She's like, we've done all of this, now what do we do with them? And, you know, in the United States, we have a model that's like foolproof. You just can find a school within 5 miles of any restaurant, any person that has crayons. But in Hong Kong, it's another story. So thank goodness to Facebook.
Yeah.
Shout out to Facebook. I asked my friends, does anyone know of a place that needs crayons in Hong Kong?
No way.
So it ended up being that someone says, yeah, there's a place called Child Protective Services. These are kids who've been displaced from their homes, and it's kind of like an orphanage. And the school was able to donate their crayons to this particular, place that was a little bit outside of town, and it worked out beautifully. And it was one of those days that I thought, wow, this is really growing. And today we're in about 9 countries.
Wow.
So it's grown.
And which 9 countries are those?
So we've been in Uganda, Mexico, Haiti, South Africa, Australia, Guam, Puerto Rico, where are we? England, France, and the last one was Colombia.
You actually met the people that have been affected by this in other countries?
I've met the people who are the liaison between us. So they're like ambassadors. Australia was cool because I was able to implement that there, and right now we're creating a national partnership with another organization there. But really, the idea is so simple that anyone, anywhere can participate. So it's not even so much that I need to go in and implement it, but a person hears about it and they implement it. I love the stories I hear about the ones in Uganda, Haiti, and Colombia, because the kids who received crayons there had never heard of a crayon, had never held a crayon. They didn't even know what it was. And this would have been a trashed crayon otherwise.
Right.
And so those were really amazing stories, because these are in remote villages. And to know that we made that difference, and someone on the ground there collected the crayons for the kids, that's what's cool, you know?
Right. Personally, I grew up around artists, so I understood the importance of it and I appreciate it. But what is the importance of art education for children, and how does that affect them in other subjects at school?
Well, studies have shown that children with access to art education perform better in all subjects, including math, writing, reading, science, anything, you name it. And the truth is, it seems to have become only a subject that's prevalent in well-served communities. And sadly, the places that need it the most are those underserved communities. So what we do at Crayon Collection is we take resident artists with us into the classrooms, and we work with the students in their classroom time. And we started to see that there's so much of a need, especially to support their after-school programs. 19 million families in America do not have after-school care because there's just not enough. So we thought, well, what if we had a consistent program where after school we are serving the community that we work with anyway, but between those very vulnerable hours of like 3:30 to 5:30 when parents are still at work and need some childcare, and this way we can still instill the art education program, support them, provide mentorship, help with homework, whatever we might be able to do to really just give them a leg up in the world. Because right now, as it stands, these underserved schools are just getting cut more and more and more, and there's no way to supplement like you would in a well-served neighborhood.
Nieces, I have 2 nephews, and to think if their parents were still at work and they would have to be worried to know, like, from 3:30 to 5:30, what streets are they roaming, who are they talking to. It's nice to know that they will have some place to be. And you said it's launching in November?
Yes. We are basically at the place where we're just ready to go. So we thought that November would be a nice time to get started, and we're working in partnership with other organizations as well, including the Boys and Girls Club. We're really excited to work with all these different avenues that we have these relationships with and just support wherever we can. LA's Best is another one. We really are eager to just get in there and teach as much art as we can and support as many students as we can.